Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. On today's episode, we are going to check out a super simple nano tank that is achieving incredible results. All right, thank you for joining me on yet another episode of Parker's Reefs. And as touched on in the intro, today I am super excited to share with you Blake's Nano Reef tank because, to be fair, on this channel we fairly frequently showcase tanks that have had tens of thousands of dollars thrown at them in both equipment, infrastructure, and of course livestock. And probably not to too many people's surprise, those tanks end up looking quite good. Not for a second suggesting that you can just throw money at a reef tank and it will work. There is a lot more to it than that. But to be fair, a lot of money definitely helps make it happen. Now, at the other end of the spectrum, Blake's Nano runs very modest list of equipment in it, and the results he is achieving from this tank of nothing short of outstanding. So I could not miss the opportunity to put a microphone on the man and get him to talk about this incredible nano and the results he is achieving with this modest set of equipment. So without any further ado, let's cross now and hear all about Blake's outstanding nano. All right, Blake, thank you so much for making it possible for us to check out this incredible, I'm going to say nano tank. Would you call this a nano?
Yeah, it's a nano. I'll definitely say it's a nano.
I would call it a nano. I know there's been some talk online about what equates to a nano, but this incredible reef tank in front of us here is something special. Firstly, can you tell us the actual dimensions and volume of this system?
Yeah, no worries. Well, thanks, Sam, for the opportunity. But yeah, so it's honestly nothing special. It's a off-the-shelf glass box. It's 45 by 45 by 45, equals to like 90 liters, I believe.
Okay, it definitely qualifies as a nano then.
Yeah. I would say probably it's more like 85, maybe 80 liters now with the amount of rock and stuff in there.
Definitely, I mean, rock and coral volume, you've
Yeah,
got a fair bit in there.
There's quite a lot in there. But yeah, so pretty much I started this tank, the first stage of this tank, I would say, was 3 years ago.
Okay.
That's when I bought everything.
Yes.
But pretty much nothing in here besides the clownfish are original.
Okay, so it's gone through a few iterations.
It's gone through a bit. So when I first set it up, I only just moved to Melbourne.
Yep.
I had to leave most of my reefing stuff back in New South Wales.
Okay.
And I wanted to start again. But yeah, so started again. It was just going to be a softy tank. And I found some clowns. I wanted those clowns. Just dipped my toe back in the water. It quickly changed. Yeah, I mean, whose reef tank doesn't? Yeah, I kind of got over the softies a bit. I do have one still, or a couple. But yeah, I kind of got a little bit over it. So since then, it's been turned into like a mixed reef. It definitely has had its ups and downs.
Again, it's a reef tank. We've all been there.
It is a reef tank, and I think also the small volume, being that there is actually no sump, as I said, it's just a glass box off the shelf. There has been a lot of limitations to it. But I've tried to work around it.
The results are spectacular. And before we get into some of the inhabitants and incredible success you've had inside the tank, run us through some of that equipment, because as you said, this tank doesn't run a sump, doesn't even have a sump section at the back. This is literally a glass box.
Yeah, so it's literally a glass box. I kind of wanted to, there was this whole, how it started, sorry, I should go back. I kind of wanted to maybe prove some people wrong.
Sure.
A lot of people believe that you have to have a sump. I don't agree with that. I agree that a sump is far better, but you don't have to have one. And some people, honestly, they can't afford some of the amazing water box tanks or cade tanks.
For sure, yeah.
But yet they still want to try reefing, and you definitely can. There's on the internet, there's so many people that will throw shade at you for ever trying to do anything that isn't the norm.
It's ironic, isn't it? An industry such as innovative and bleeding edge as reefing, yet we're all terrified to step out of the norm and very quick to criticize anyone who does.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, look, it's obviously there is no sum. It is sitting on an old filing cabinet. You know, found it on Marketplace. It's sturdy, it's hardwood, it works. But yeah, so there's no back section. It is run by a Seachem Tidal. It's a 110. It's a great hang on the back skimmer.
It's massive in relation to the size of the tank
It is definitely overkill, but I kind of wanted that, knowing that, you know, I would rather to hold more media just in case. Being such a small amount of water, stuff can change very quickly.
Definitely.
Very drastically. So yeah, I kind of wanted that just as a reassurance. But yeah, pretty much everything that came in the actual Seachem Tidal, I threw away.
Okay.
I didn't use it. I did, however, fill it with the GAE biospheres.
For sure, yep.
There's about 2 kilos in there.
Okay.
And then there's...
It is a pretty large hang-on for the...
Yeah, it's pretty big. People don't realize how big it actually is. But yeah, there's about 2 kilos, just shy of 2 kilos of that in there.
Sure.
And then just some bag of carbon that I do change out every 3 weeks.
Okay, yeah, yep.
And then just filter floss that I change out weekly.
Right,
That's it.
So that does a lot of the heavy lifting of sort of mechanical filtration and even biological filtration, but it doesn't end there. You've got more equipment. I mean, starting at some maybe at the top with some of the higher tech equipment, you run definitely not a low-end light on this system.
No. So, look, that's one thing. As I was saying, people can't afford every great thing under the sun.
Yes.
But when it comes to reef aquariums and stuff, I really believe that you can have a lot of budget stuff,
definitely,
but don't skimp on lighting.
Yep.
Like, don't get me wrong, I've seen the black boxes, I've seen all these Amazon golden finds and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it is the most crucial part. Like, it's the life source of most of this coral.
That's right. I mean, very few of us run non-photosynthetic corals. Every other coral out there is a photosynthetic animal. You can feed it if you want, but realistically it gets 99% of its nutrition from the light. And you sort of, if you want to play Russian roulette and roll a dice on a black box light, it might work, it might not, but you're forever going to be questioning it and chasing it.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's one thing that I did save up for, and I'm like probably 90% of the people I have to save for
sure.
Things that I want. So I did save up a while to get that. I think the first light, when it was a softy tank, I did have an Aquanite V2.
Sure, yep.
It was off Amazon, I believe it was. I think it cost me $100.
Yep.
Look, it lit the tank.
It provided light.
There was light and there was blue light.
Yes.
But it didn't really grow much.
Yeah, it's for the actual spectrum, the PAR.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite equivalent to the Radian XR15 you got on there now.
Yeah, so that's one thing I can't stress enough. And even when, now because I work here with Dave, when people come in wanting to start a reef tank, I'm like, yeah, we can definitely do that. But you have to save for a light.
Yes.
That's my crucial point at the moment.
For sure.
Everything else we can work around. But a light, you will regret it if you don't.
As you say, if you want a reef tank, if you want fish only, different story. But if you want corals, you got to give them light. And I'm sure Radian's not the only option. There's plenty of other options out there.
No, definitely not. There is heaps of different options. Radions is just what I went to. I did a lot of research, and for the size of the tank, the price point, it was just Radion for me.
Yeah. Now, I know you've done some PAR testing on this, and we've both been a little bit surprised at the PAR. We were expecting it to be a little bit higher than you were getting?
Yes. So the light itself, it's actually running at 95%.
Yeah, right. It's cranking.
Yeah, so I'm not sure why, but the PAR is kind of lacking, especially when we get lower.
Yes.
But it's still not awful numbers. I'm still getting like 200, 230. I just wanted a bit more.
I wouldn't be too stressed when you look at how happy the corals are in there. From both the LPS, Softies, SPS, they're all looking fantastic in this. They're obviously getting the light they need. But yes, I know, I thought an XR15 on a pretty small tank, cranking at 95% would probably be spitting out 350, 400 par, but maybe not the case.
But no, not the case. And I'm not sure, honestly, I'm not sure why. I was thinking that it might be because, you know, the tidal is actually not even full bore. The filter, it's running at like 50%. I can crank it up more. And the surface agitation is crazy.
I can imagine. This is 50% now, and it literally is a tidal coming out of there.
So like maybe that could play into it a lot more than I'm realizing.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly. I haven't really run that much testing on it.
Yep.
But yeah, look, I'm happy with what it's running. The par that's there, it's working.
The results are the most important thing, not the par. No one gets online and brags about their par values when they've got a horrible looking tank. They only do that when their tank looks incredible, and regardless of the numbers, this looks amazing. So I'd be super happy with that. I know we even went to the stage, you were running the diffuser under this, and I said, let's remove the diffuser because it could be taking some of the par out.
And it did. It did actually. It bumped it up a bit. I'll give you that. It did. But the diffuser was there because purely when this tank was at home, it was in my lounge room.
Yeah, and it's in your eye line.
Sitting down trying to watch TV, and you just had this shocking light in your face, and it was just too much.
And then one day we had the light bulb moment to go, well, let's just still run the shade, but just take the diffuser part of it out there. So you just get this extra lip on the radiant there. It does the same thing, but doesn't cut back on the par.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, it's working good. I do want to add some AI blades. Well, that was the plan. I was going to add 2, just at the 1 foot grows.
Yep.
However, unfortunately, this tank's actually coming to its end. I am upgrading to a bigger tank.
You say unfortunately?
Yeah.
Upgrades are exciting.
Upgrades are exciting. However, it's only because it's made me upgrade. A lot of people might not recognize, but we're actually at my work right now. We're at Deer Park Aquarium.
Yes, we're after hours at Deer Park Aquarium here in the filtration room of all places.
Yes. And so we moved it in here because I was moving house.
Yes.
And the worst thing is, you know, with the rental crisis and stuff and stressing about your animals and I don't know where I'm going to live. So we just moved it at work. I was lucky enough. Dave was nice enough to let me bring it here. However, in that move, we actually broke the tank.
Yep.
So the tank on the corner is cracked. It does leak. It's a very slow leak, but it leaks.
Yes.
Dave did fix it. Well, he attempted to fix it with some super glue and epoxy.
Yep.
It held. It's holding, but I'm too scared to move it again.
Yeah, and that was the thing. You were going to have to do a couple of moves in short succession.
Yeah.
And moving a reef tank once is a nightmare. Moving it a few times is really not fun. So you decided to cut out one of those moves by bringing it here. And yeah, as you say, with that minor damage to it, moving it one more time could just push the limits a bit far.
Yeah, it's a bit different. If it, like, don't get me wrong, I hope it never happens, especially because I'm attached to my animals, my livestock. I care about them. But if it does break and water goes everywhere here, it's going to be devastating, but it's okay. We're an aquarium. Water goes on the floor.
The facilities are here to handle that.
If that happens at like a place I'm renting on carpet, I'm probably not going to get my bond back. So, you know, I don't really want to move the tank again just yet.
Of course. But that's fair enough. Now, before we get sidetracked with some of the beautiful corals and fish you've got in this system, we need to finish off the equipment because it's quite a unique feature of this tank, really. There's no sump. You've got the hang-on tidal, or Seacam tidal there. You've got the high-quality light above it, but there's more equipment in and around this tank. Can you walk us through some of those items?
Yeah, no worries. So I do have Aqua Twist Ultraviolet UV.
Yeah, just hanging on the side here.
I believe it's like a 12 watt, I think. Might have to double check that. But yeah, it's a 12 watt. It's just there purely helps with, you know, clearing the water.
For sure.
Yeah, that's run by a 1.0 CJ pump.
Yeah, there's a little Sichet tucked in down there. You've done quite a good job.
I've tried to hide it.
No doubt. You've got quite a knack for this. Like, you've got a nice freshwater polydarium just over that side of the wall there, and the pumps and things are tucked away really nicely in that too. So you've got quite a knack of getting this equipment to not be super obvious in the display.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's another downside of not having a sump. All the equipment is in the viewing area. And it can take away from the magic that is a reef tank.
Yeah, for sure. But you've done a great job. I mean, there's plenty of equipment here, and it doesn't really stand out, to be honest.
I have tried. I appreciate that, but I have tried. I'm still not 100% happy with it, but I did the best I could. I've also got this little Nano skimmer. So this thing, it's made by Red Starfish. Honestly, I've tried a couple of their things, and I don't think I would ever buy it again. Personally, no hate, but surprisingly, this skimmer actually isn't awful.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you said you wouldn't buy this stuff again, I'm like looking at the skimmate it's pulling out. I'm like,
yeah,
that's not bad.
It's not bad, and it's actually normally a lot thicker than that.
Okay.
It's just, it was maintenance day yesterday on the tank, and I stirred some stuff up.
Yeah,
so
you gave it a clean up for the video.
I gave it a clean up for the video, you know. And so now it's just pulling out a bit of a wet skim. But normally it is a bit darker. But yeah, it's actually surprisingly, it's been doing really well. It's been 3 years now running, hasn't stopped.
Excellent.
Every 6 months, I do try and give all the equipment, you know, a good clean citric acid.
Yep.
I'm not going to say it's exactly every 6 months. I am human.
Yeah, life happens. I get it.
But yeah, it's working good. And then, so attached to the skimmer, I do run an air scrubber.
Yes.
Which is down here on the floor.
Yeah, nice. The air scrubbers, CO2 scrubbers, about the size of the skimmer itself.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm assuming the media lasts a decent amount of time in that?
Yes, it definitely does. But yeah, so that's honestly, I haven't changed that media now, I think, 8 months. It's probably due for a change. However, it's not all purple, so
it's got some life left.
You know, it's still got some life.
Man, I wish I got that kind of lifespan out of my media.
Perks of a Nano. Yeah. But then I've also got, again, just a cheapie. I have got a Jabeo.
Yep.
I think they're like an MW10 or something. But yeah, it works.
It's on the back wall there, just
back wall.
Making sure there's, I mean, you're obviously getting a nice surface disruption from the tidal, and a pretty decent volume of water movement there, but that nice Jabao pump down there just eliminating the dead spots.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much just hitting one of the rocks and then blowing around, and you know, the Gonnies love it, Elegance loves it, so yeah.
Well, it's a treat.
That movement.
Again, it's not overly visible, like you can't see it from the front here, and even when I come to the side, I kind of have to wait for you to point it out to see the pump in there, so you've done a beautiful job of making the equipment in the display not detract from the livestock at all.
But yeah, so then one more thing is I used to live in the CBD, Melbourne. Yes. I lived in a skyrise. Unfortunately, Melbourne summer, it got really hot there. So temperature was a funny thing.
Yes.
So I was running an Inkbird, temperature controlled, and this is an Officeworks desk fan.
Perfect.
That plugged in. And when my temperature got above 26, the fan would just kick on. It's enough movement across the water surface that the tank cooled down.
Yeah, for sure.
It worked.
Of course.
A lot cheaper than a Nano chiller.
Oh, to be honest, on a Nano tank, chillers, in my opinion, are overkill until you really want to put them in a hot environment.
Yeah.
A fan with decent airflow is going to give pretty adequate chilling.
Yeah. So, and yeah, that's pretty much... That's it. Like I run just a standard titanium Aqua 1 heater.
Oh, yeah,
Again,
nice.
just a El Cheapo.
Yep. They're the ones with the built-in controller.
Yeah, built-in controller.
Yep.
I am running the Churros or Churios. I'm not sure how you say it, unfortunately.
I believe the guys, I was just at the factory recently, and I'm going to get this wrong, but I believe it's Chihirios.
Chihirios. All right.
Really have to emphasize that.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right. So Chihirios. I got one of their forehead doses. So I just wanted to try it out, you know, because most marine doses, you're looking at like $600.
Yeah, for
more.
sure.
This thing retails at like $230 or something.
Yeah,
it's
beautiful.
Super cheap. And it is amazing.
Yep.
For the price, the app's great. The actual device itself, it's small and it works. There's no downside to it.
Yeah. Cheap, good looking, small, works, good app.
Yeah.
Ticks all the boxes.
Yeah, that's it. Like it's been running now for, I want to say 7 months. Before then, I was manually dosing.
Yep.
Except ALK. So I used to have a single head Kamoa.
Yep. It's the X1.
Yeah, X1 Kamoa.
Yep.
I used to have that just for my KH. Everything else was manual dose.
Sure.
But then I tried this, and it's been working ever since.
Nice. So what have you got hooked up to that doser now that you've got the 4 channels online?
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of Coral Essentials, as I think nearly everyone is. Look, the stuff works.
That's it.
But yeah, so I do CVE Plus. I'm actually dosing 4 mils a day in this tank.
Quite a bit.
You'd think so. It's taken it. My levels are stable. It's not destroying anything, so
Always
been good.
Excellent.
And then, I've just got KH, calcium and magnesium.
Of course.
It's all Aquaforest brand. I mix it myself.
Yep.
And then I'm also dosing the ABC, Coral Essentials,
Yep,
and then
just for the trace.
Yeah, trace elements, manganese.
Yep.
Amino acids, and what was the other one? Power Grow.
Power Grow. Yeah. So you got your aminos, you got your vitamins, you got your trace, and then you've got your main elements. So pretty much the full works.
Yeah. So I'm dosing them daily. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and actually, sorry, there is an ATO. Tucked away.
Nice little ATO there. It's keeping everything nice and level.
I can't tell you the brand. That was an eBay special. I think it cost me $23.
Beautiful.
It has been working for 3 years, so
that's a win.
I'm not going to change it.
No,
the only thing that I definitely have to clean the sensor every now and then because the coralline will.
Yep.
And then you just have, freshwater tank.
Yes.
But yeah, so ATO, and that's just in a Kmart 10-liter food storage.
It does the job nicely.
It does the job.
Perfect. No, that's a nice, simple yet comprehensive lineup of equipment on the system, and you've even got the little PDU mounted on the side there, so you've got quick access to all your power.
Yep.
And for those wondering at home, this dosing pump and these dosing containers, not for this tank. That's for the tank over here next to it. But so
that's for one of the other displays at work. That is not mine. But yeah, so currently it's here at work at Deer Park Aquarium. If anyone wants to come and check it out, I know a lot of people have fallen in love with it just by walking past.
It's funny, this system's kind of tucked out of the way. We don't have it out on show. It's like it's hidden away in here in the filtration room, but it catches people's eye because they sort of walk past this window over here, and they're meant to be looking at this big filter skid, and they see all the bright colours in this tank, and they want to come around and check it out. And then they're surprised by the simplicity of the system and the results you're getting. Yeah.
No, it's been good. I enjoy when people come in and, they're like, oh, it's amazing. And it's like, yeah, thanks. Like,
it's
a little bit proud there.
Yeah,
but
so you should be. No, it looks great.
But look, I know I've seen better tanks. Like, I'm jealous of your tank, Sam. I'm jealous of nearly half the people's tanks that come in here. But I'm also kind of realistic in my, I don't own a home. I move around a lot.
Yep.
I would love a massive 8-foot Dream Reef tank. Unfortunately, it's just not on the cards for me yet.
It's not feasible at this point in time. But I mean, what you have been able to make work in this less than 2-foot cube is astounding. And it's probably as good a time as any for you to take us through some of the livestock that does live inside the glass box. Would you like to start with fish or coral?
Yeah, no worries. Sorry about all the water. I do have a sore throat.
Oh, good.
But yeah, so look, there is not many fish in here. I'll start with fish.
Yep.
I don't name fish. I learnt that a very long time ago, back in my freshwater days. It's all well and good to get attached to your fish, but I feel like as soon as you name them, something definitely goes wrong. And it's like a week after naming it, and then you're like, oh, well, there goes George. Or,
George and Barry are on the way out.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, unfortunately, I have not named them.
Sure.
But I do have, I have a yellow coral goby.
Yeah. See him sitting up there at the surface right now.
Somewhere, yes.
Yeah, he's up there keeping the SBS frags honest.
He is very fat. Honestly, it's not a bad thing, but
No.
I think that he looks actually stunning. especially once they get some good weight on them.
Yeah.
I've also got a fathead Anthea.
Yes. Now this guy I did see before. He was hiding up in the back corner there. I'll be sure to get some footage of him to put on screen. Cool fish, fairly reclusive though. Doesn't sort of hang around the front.
Like, I kind of like it though. He's kind of cryptic. He likes to hide a lot, but then when he does come out, especially when you're at home and you'd like to relax and just look at your tank, it's just that, like,
reward
it's that
for
bit
effort.
of excitement.
Absolutely.
I do love him. He's a super cool fish. But yeah, he does hide a bit. I also have a psychedelic mandarin.
Yes.
Again, somewhere.
We'll get footage of him. Don't worry.
We'll try and get footage of him.
Kicking about. Cool looking fish.
He actually has started eating frozen, which is really
amazing.
cool.
Yeah.
This is the first time. I've tried a couple times with mandarins.
Yep.
And this is the first time one has stayed with me as long as he has. So I've had him for 2 years now, I would say.
Yep. And I must admit, like, it would be a challenge in a tank this size because, I mean, there's only physically so many copepods that can exist in a tank with this sort of volume, and these guys do like to eat them literally like every second of every day. That's
it. And like, don't get me wrong, there is copepods in here.
Of course.
I make sure every week, you know, I do buy copepods. I keep putting it in the tank at night time.
Yep.
But it's just also a weight off your shoulder that, he's eating some mysis. Like,
eating frozen. That's a huge win,
So it's a big win. So
definitely.
I love that. And then, I've got my clownfish.
Of course.
Yeah.
Iconic reef fish.
Yeah. That's kind of it. Like, the clownfish I've had since the tank started.
Yes.
They're onyx, wild onyx clowns.
Beautiful.
They're great. I love them. They love to hang in the gonnies all the time. Surprisingly, the gonnies don't actually get pissed off by them, so it's a win-win.
Massive win, definitely.
But yeah, for fish, that's it.
That's good. It's a good modest bio load for the nutrient export available on the tank.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I really want to get a shrimp goby.
Nice.
Pistol shrimp pair.
Definitely.
I just want to get one of the like pygmy ones, like a flame prawn goby or something like that. So
definitely.
Me and Dave are hunting for one, so we'll get one eventually, but that will probably be once this moves into the new tank.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's no point adding anything else to just have to move it again.
Definitely.
But yeah, and then invert-wise, I do have a biscuit starfish.
Yeah.
He is here, near the skimmer.
Oh, there he is. I saw him there before. Yeah.
Loves the skimmer. I have a sand sifter starfish.
Nice.
I have a short-spined urchin.
Yes.
I have one peppermint shrimp, just to help if any aptasias pop up. And then a bunch of like turbos. And
Beautiful.
I think maybe 2 or 3 trocus somewhere in there.
Yeah, so to be honest, pretty minimal, I would say, on the snail side of things, considering that there's really not any algae as the other doser goes off, but there's really not any algae other than the piece that you've deliberately put in there.
Yes.
The tank's super clean for for the filtration on the system, the coral load in the system. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. But like it's punching along. It's doing good. I am proud of it. Like, I think it's quite amazing what you can do, you know, in this hobby. I love this hobby.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
We could set up the same tank and you could buy exactly the same corals as me, and then they would turn out 2 completely different tanks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I just love
script.
It. But yeah, oh look, there's the mandarin.
Yeah, I just saw the mandarin, then I'm like, I was not meant to get B-roll of you right now, but sure.
He's cruising around.
He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
No, looks good. Now, it is a good opportunity to segue onto the corals in this tank. You've got quite a few in here.
Yep.
Can you tell us through some of the history, the stories, your favorites?
Yeah, no worries. So, the newest thing is the clam.
Yeah. You managed to get a reasonable sized clam
Yeah.
in this tank here, continually pushing the boundaries of what is possible in such a footprint tank. It's incredible.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to try a clam. I've just always been skeptical. Like, I hate to kill things.
Of course.
I don't want to buy stuff unless I know, it's going to survive.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with this hobby, sometimes the luck's just not on your side.
Yeah.
It happens to all of us, but if I can, go slow and steady and take my time, I 100% will.
Yep.
But yeah, so I finally added a clam. It's doing good.
Looks great.
So hopefully he keeps kicking along.
Oh, he's got good extension already, so I think he's going to be just fine.
He's looking pretty happy. I'm not going to lie. So, but yeah, so I don't really know where to start.
Let's go from the clam. So down here around the clam, you've got a beautiful acan garden there.
Yep.
Some really nice fat and fluffy acans, all sorts of different colours going on in there.
Yep.
Looks an absolute treat.
So acans were one of the things that got me into reef keeping.
Yes.
I don't know why. I first, I was into saltwater, but I was into predatory, so I loved lionfish. Lionfish are my all-time favorite fish.
Yes.
And stingrays and stuff like that. I've kept them before. However, when it came to coral, it was acans that got me into it.
Okay.
And yeah, so all those acans there, they actually came from New South Wales with me. They're all those little frags.
Yes.
They were one head at a time, and they were from my friend Ben. He runs Cracking Corals.
Yep.
And yeah, kind of like a going away gift.
Amazing.
But yeah, and I love them. They're a good variety of them.
Well, you've done them absolute justice there because they are fat and fluffy, full of colour, look great. Massive colony back there as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was maintenance day yesterday. Thinking I'd do it good to make the video look amazing, but everything's a little still temperamental today.
You say that, but honestly, it looks incredible. I'm sure, don't get me wrong, I completely understand when people say your tape looks great and you say, it normally looks 10% better, but it still looks great. So please don't panic over things like that. But even especially your acans look fantastic.
Well, normally, especially the middle one, the yellow and green or the gold, I would say, the Aussie acan.
Yes.
It is normally so fluffy that it is bigger than all the four around it. So it's a little bit moody today, but I'll give it that.
It happens. It happens. And then moving over from that, you've got Recordia, a gold disco morph there. A couple of those there look beautiful, white spots through them, and a Superman Redactus as well.
Yep.
And then you come down to some absolutely stunning button scollies there. This red guy here, loving life, fat, fluffy, nice stripy one in there next to it. Another cheeky Recordia in behind him, and then a really nicely manicured Zoa garden there. A great assortment of Zoas in there.
Yeah, and more to add if I can ever. I need a bigger rock. But yeah, I love Zoas. I love it's the same coral, but there is thousands of different varieties
infinite
of
variables with them. Yeah, definitely.
And they're amazing. If I was a millionaire, I'd get all the massive name, they're insane ones where it's like $600 for one polyp. I would have that in my tank, but I'm not. But look, these are beautiful. I love Zoas. But yeah, they've taken over that rock really well. A lot quicker than I actually thought they would.
Yes.
So yeah, I do need a bigger rock.
I can see why you like Zoas. When you have them looking that healthy and colourful and full extension, there's no reason not to love them. They're just beautiful. Yeah,
and they're honestly, especially these ones, these are, I don't want to say they're nothing special because everything is special, but they're not the expensive ones.
No,
all of these were, I think, 15, some were 20 for a frag type.
Yeah.
It had 4 polyps on it, pretty cheap, and they grow fast.
Absolutely.
I have seen some amazing Zoa tanks. And yeah, they're just, I think a lot of people overlook them.
Yep.
When they shouldn't. We see it all the time here at work. We've got heaps of Zoas.
Yeah.
And it's probably the least touched tank.
Yep.
Which is astounding to me because the colors, the variety, and the growth on them is insane.
Exactly. And yeah, when you get a combination of colors like that all living happily together, what's not to love? Yeah. Now, I will come around the side, but I can see a beautiful Lighthouse Samacora on there. Beautiful, bright gold piece on there. One of my favorite corals. I've, to be honest, never had much success with it myself, but It looks an absolute treat. Got a beautiful Siphasteria up here starting to encrust over on that rock.
Yep.
Cheeky little Duncan managing to still get some light around the Monty Cap above it up there.
Yeah, that Monty Cap was bad placement on my on my part. I honestly thought it would take a lot longer to grow than it did. So I got that it was a frag tile.
Yep.
I think it's been in my tank for a year now.
Okay. It's about 8 times the size, maybe more probably.
I've actually taken a couple frags off it, and they're in our 35 tank. So it was bigger.
It's already been trimmed, and it's still outgrowing its available space.
Yeah. So,
that is the beauty of Monty Cap, though.
But yeah, I can't wait, especially for that to go in a bit bigger of a tank to actually really start curling around completely. I love it.
Give it the room to cap, definitely. And then one of your showpieces in this system, and I do honestly say one of, because there's multiple in here. Your clownfish's home down here, the Goniapora garden you got down there is beautiful. You got a nice assortment of different gonies in there.
Yeah, I do. Like, that's more my partner. She loves gonies.
Yes.
She's obsessed with them. We did have a lot more before we moved.
Sure.
I am trying to find a purple glitter that is like, our all-time favorite one. I did have one. I had it as a frag, and it got to like half my fist. But unfortunately, I did try and move it here, and I lost it.
Bugger.
So I am on the hunt for one of them.
I've got a couple of shops that I know carry purple glitter gonies that will hook us up, and I'm looking at you, Nick, and you, Mariah. We might be reaching out soon for some purple glitters.
Yeah, I definitely need to find another one. But
definitely.
Yeah, they're doing good. Look, I hear a lot of people saying they struggle with gonies. I personally haven't had that. Not to toot my own horn or anything. It's not that, but it shows that every tank can be so different.
Of course.
I can't really give any advice on my gonies because I've always put them in and I haven't changed anything.
For sure.
I'm not doing anything special for them. They're honestly in probably one of the darkest spot of the
they're
tank.
Definitely not getting a heap of light down there.
They're shadowed, but the extension's good. They're waving. They're happy.
Yeah, you would say they've got the perfect amount of flow there, just gently dancing away there. Obviously, the low light's not bothering them so much. Not that they're getting no light. They're definitely getting some par there, but it's not blasting them with light. The clownfishes are keeping them honest all day long, and they still look incredible.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty cool. I'll try and get you some footage, but the clown actually, during the day, the clown likes to have a nap. But he has a nap head first into the goni, and his body just sways with the tentacles.
Yeah,
and
nice.
It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so look, that's the bottom. The scollies, the button scollies.
Yes. Incredible.
They're really fluffy.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't believe me when I say that the red one's actually a button scully.
You can tell from the structure of it that it is, but it is a big, fluffy boy.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Buttons can be big.
Yeah, true. But yeah, like, look, it's kicking along. It's doing good. I do have some macroalgae.
Yeah.
I put it in there to see how it would go.
Yes.
It was one little strand. I think there's now 6 or something.
So I'd say it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, I did try and move it yesterday just because I was worried it was gonna,
upset the clam or something. Yep.
I can't move it.
Okay, it's got its roots down onto something.
Yeah, the roots, I feel like, under that rock and on the other side of the rock. So it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's there now. But yeah, like, I've got my elegance.
Beautiful piece.
Yeah, I understand everyone's love for anemones.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I don't have that love. I respect them. I reckon they look magical in a tank, especially when clowns host it.
Yes.
But the fact that me personally, I would be stressing 24/7 that it's going to end up to a wave maker or it's going to walk all over my other coral. And I just...
Honestly, in a tank this size, where you've got this much coral load in there, there really is not
Yeah.
a lot of square footage for an anemone to move. And let's be honest, they move.
Yeah. And people who say they never moved, oh, trust me, it will move.
It will absolutely move, yeah.
You're just lucky it hasn't yet.
Hasn't moved yet.
Yeah,
exactly.
yet is the key word. But
And yeah, if it went on a bit of a tear around there, it would definitely take a few casualties with it. So the elegance is a good alternative. And
yeah, so that's my alternative. It's not a expensive elegance. It's I think there's like 100 more like them in every other shop. But it is kind of, I think it's like the showpiece that kind of brings the tank together.
Absolutely.
Especially
it's front and center. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Especially when the clowns, they do host it every now and then. And yeah, so it is kind of giving you that vibe of an anemone. My parents, when they come over, think it is an anemone. But yeah, like it's good. It's doing its job. And it is quite happy today.
It's doing its job. It looks beautiful.
Looking beautiful.
It's fat, fluffy, bright coloured, beautiful movement on it. Again, the perfect amount of flow there. It's just gently dancing away there. It looks an absolute treat. And then epic contrast with the fireworks clove polyps there next to it. Yep. Just almost the yin and the yang of the colours there.
So I'm not going to take credit for that. That was an accident. So I have a frag rack here.
Yes.
It normally lives on this side, just for flow.
Yep.
But I didn't notice that the frag fell off. And then, I was working away for work. And yeah, I didn't notice the frag fell off. And when I came back, it was like 2 weeks later. I couldn't move the frag.
It had attached itself.
It attached to the rock, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave it. And then when we moved it here, the frag fell off, but the rest stayed.
It just spat the tile out.
Yeah, but so now I have another frag of it.
Amazing.
But yeah, so that wasn't on purpose, but I'll take it. That's what it is. It's
nature.
A
happy coincidence.
It's doing it.
That's it, exactly. It's doing everything we want it to do.
Yeah.
And then somehow, despite the volume of the tank and the dozens and dozens of other corals you've got in there, you've still somehow managed to fit in a hammer garden with a good, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 different hammers in there.
Yeah.
How is this possible?
I love hammers. And I will always find room for hammers. I don't know what it is about hammers. I've just always loved them. So if one catches my eye, it's going in the tank.
For sure.
But yeah, I like them. There is, however, I did get this one. Hang on, let me get my trusty stick.
Grab your pointer, yeah.
I got this one. And here at work, under the lights, it was orange.
Yes.
My tank, it's now pink. But I still like it.
It's still beautiful, yeah. It's got,
still,
I quite like the extension it's got on it too. It just kind of has it's a bit more of an open structure than, say, like the model underneath it, which is a bit tighter.
Yeah.
It gives a really nice contrast.
Yep. And then I've got this highlighted green or yellow, depends who you want to ask.
Well, whatever it is, it's bright. Yeah.
And then this one's interesting. It's actually got gold and green in the stems.
Yeah, nice.
However, it is a little closed. That's another thing. I do love hammers, but all of these were one head when they went in. They're not necessarily one head anymore.
No, getting great growth.
And they are getting a bit squished together.
Yep.
So that is one thing I'm looking forward to with a bit bigger of a tank.
For sure.
Letting them spread out again. Because, I love having a hammer garden and having them all close together.
Yes.
But I still want them to be able to open.
Yeah, of course. You want them to be able to grow to their full size and really get their elbows out and enjoy life.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this frog spawn, though, he is on the downhill. I'm not going to hide it.
Yeah, he's struggling a little.
He was fine, and then a couple of weeks ago, he started not being fine.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm not sure why. I've run some tests and stuff. I do have to do an ICP. But, it's part of it.
Yeah,
sometimes it happens. But yeah, he was big and fluffy, and now all of a sudden he's not.
One of those things.
But yeah, I'm not going to hide it. Every reef tank has these little things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do have some star polyp.
Yeah, attached onto the side wall there.
Yeah, however, it does not grow for me.
but it's extended and it's bright.
It's extended, it is bright, but I can't get it to grow. it is...
It's a stunted green star polyp.
It's surviving, it's not thriving. It's...
Yeah.
Well, it's alive.
You say it's not thriving, but I mean, it's got such good extension and great color. It's just missing whatever it needs to extend its skeleton and grow further.
Yeah,
well, it's matte, whatever that's got on it, if you call that a skeleton or not.
Yeah. So my goal was to have that whole wall just star polyps.
For sure.
It's never happened. But it's still there.
You're on the way.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. And then you come up onto the top of the rock.
Yeah, where the very top.
You've still managed to get a pretty thriving little SPS garden going on there. I love the bird of paradise over there. That's nicely encrusted, got good extension, good colour, nice purple pokey, green pokey. And then you've got some other various acros in here. This pinky green's quite nice.
Yeah, it is nice. I am not going to pretend I know the names, right? It is a colourful stick.
It is a colourful stick.
But no, like, so the SBS is new.
Yep.
Actually, I think it was only, probably 4, 5 months ago now that I was talking to you, Sam, about wanting to try SBS.
Sure.
And yeah, so pretty much that rock isn't actually glued.
Okay.
I just got a couple of little frags that I thought would be easy and just stuck it on the rock and then just sat the rock down. But hey, they're actually, surprisingly, it hasn't been that long.
They're looking great. In that sort of time frame, realistically, you put SBS frags into a tank that hasn't had SBS before, you just want to see it not die for 3 or 4 months, and then you can worry about getting nice colour, nice extension, and eventually some growth.
Yep.
You've got all 3 of those already, so...
Yeah, and it's encrusting. So like this one here, if you come around here, you can see how much it's actually encrusted.
Yeah.
Again,
you can see it all over the rock there, yeah.
For me, I am very surprised at that being. It has only been, 4 months, I think. It hasn't been long at all.
It's working a treat.
And I'm quite proud of that because I've never... That's another thing in my journey of fish keeping.
Yep.
SBS was that thing that I was like, it's too hard. I can't do it. It's too hard. But
without even trying, you decided that.
Honestly, yeah. Like I think it comes with the fact that the media, the rock, the tank itself, it's been running for a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, stuff has changed. I've changed my mind with some corals. Some corals have died, but the actual system itself, is old.
Yeah. Takes time to get that stability, and that is all that SBS are really asking for. Everyone talks about light and flow and this and that. Stability is what they need.
Yeah, I honestly believe it is because of how old the system is.
For sure.
And yeah, it's been doing good. Don't get me wrong. I did try fireworks, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, fireworks. The purple with the gold polyps.
Yeah.
Yep.
Purple with the gold polyps. That didn't last.
Okay.
So that one, he was actually on this tip.
Yep.
Where the snail is now.
Yep.
It did not last.
Didn't like it.
It just, within 3 days, it was gone.
Yeah. In that sort of time frame, I wouldn't question yourself or the tank all that much. I'd say something wasn't right to begin with. But that's the way sometimes these acros, particularly SBS, go. Sometimes they just take off and flourish. Other times they just turn their nose up and die. Yeah.
So yeah, I have tried. But yeah, there's still some goodies around. I always try and find stuff. Try and shove stuff in.
The dangers of having your personal reef tank at your workplace, which is a reef shop.
Yeah, sorry, Dave. So yeah, like a lot of these things, like for instance, this yellow, what do you call this, Sam?
The lighthouse Samakori, yeah.
So the lighthouse, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to pretend I know what it is.
Absolute showpiece.
In the sand of one of our coral systems.
Amazing.
And it was like my nail.
Incredible.
I was like, hey, Dave, what's this? And he goes, just, don't worry about it. I was on a fragate. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm taking it home. I put it there, and now it's encrusted that little nub. So,
well, that is the mother colony now, because you wouldn't know how long I've been on the hunt for lighthouse Samakori.
Oh, really?
And you find some in the sand.
And I find some in the sand at work. So, yeah, perks of being reef store janitor. I find a lot of stuff in the sand.
in your maintenance and cleanup days.
Yeah. But yeah, I've also got, on the frag rack, I've got a couple things. They're just growing out, and also I don't know where to put them.
That is where frag racks become dangerous, because they should be there just to cut the excess bits off so that they can heal in the same water and then come out. But
no.
Every single one of us use them to hold new things and then work out where we're going to fit them. And it gets to the point where you then have to get another frag rack because that one is full and you still can't find places to fit them.
And then you just end up with a frag tank. But yeah, look, there's 2 more SPS here. There's a Digi and then another firework.
Yep.
But they're not doing good. They're not as colourful.
Definitely not as colourful.
But they're not dead. So
no. Still give them time. Some SPS just like to sit dormant for some time.
I'm gonna give them some time.
But then in stark contrast, you go to the Space Invader Pectinia, which is literally burning the lens on this camera. You go to that incredible Monty there that is such a vibrant orange with fluoro blue polyps on it. And then you even go to the Chili Pepper Monty there, which likewise is bright green with super red polyps.
Yep.
You couldn't ask for much more color than that on that frag rack, and that's just 3 of the pieces. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I think I've started to become a fan of Monty. I never thought I would be, but yeah. So yeah, I've got the the red cap.
Yep.
And then I've got this really cool one. I'm excited to see. It's the mariculture. It's a Cadbury purple.
Yes.
Apparently, it will grow kind of like a cabbage, so that will be the core, and then it will get like the caps around it.
Yep.
I'm really excited to get that to grow, and then the other 2, and I'm eyeing some more off in the shop. But I think I've kind of reached the limit with this. I have to stop myself.
I think you've absolutely found the limit a number of months ago, and it kept on trucking
just a little bit. But but no, look, I'm proud of it.
As it should be.
As I said, it's a 90-litre tank. I'd just like to show that it is possible to have a tank without a sump. It's
not only possible, it's an absolute showpiece and a credit to you to keep a system like this, which, to be fair, with no disrespect, is minimal on its equipment. There's no sump, there's all hang-on equipment. The burning question is, what is your maintenance like on that?
Nothing. No, that's a lie. I do nothing. No. Look, maintenance, I wouldn't say it's drastic by any means.
Sure.
The only difference is where I believe in a sump you would, you have all your media, you have your bioballs and stuff. You would probably clean them out maybe like once every 6 months, give them a rinse.
Yes.
Get all the detritus out of them.
For sure.
I do that every 2 weeks in this. This thing.
Yep.
That's one thing I will say. When I do a water change, the media is getting a clean every 2 weeks.
Yes. Yep.
It's what's working for me. Like my nitrates sit at 5.
Wow.
My phosphates are 0.1.
Wow.
And that's it. That's them stable unless I don't do something that fortnight.
Yeah, okay.
And then you notice it. So you might have a 400-litre system with a sump.
Yep.
The changes, if you miss that week's water change, it's not gonna, it's not the end of the world.
Yes.
If I miss it, it's a bit more crucial.
Yeah, okay. And speaking of water changes, weekly, fortnightly?
So every fortnight,
yep,
I do 10%.
Wow, so even that's not excessive. You've got to be diligent with them, but it's not like you're taking 50% of the water out every other day.
No, so 10% water change every 2 weeks. And then, that 2 weeks, I clean out the filter. I put in some new filter floss.
Yep.
I give the skimmer a good clean.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Oh, wow.
I also opened the UV. So the UV is on a ball valve.
Okay.
It's only a dribble going through it, honestly.
Yep.
I do open that up to flush it out.
Yep.
In that fortnight before the water change, and you should see all the stuff coming out of it.
A little bit of slime and stuff building up in there.
But so I wouldn't say it's
not excessive
amount of work.
No, but you just have to be diligent with it and.
But I know for a fact at the start, it was every week I was doing like 20% water changes on this thing, and I was struggling. Like everything was out of whack.
Yep.
But the more I just kept at it, I was persistent, and now it's it's kind of running itself. It's at that point where, you know, I give it a hand every 2 weeks, but other than that, it's
on cruise control.
It's just on cruise control.
Yeah. As you would expect, a system that's 3 or so years old, that's pretty well stocked. Like I said, you do have a modest bioload in it. You're not trying to run, you know, a school of tangs in here or some predator fish in here that have got a huge bioload. You've kept that reasonable, and I think that's been a massive contributing factor to the success of the tank, which is normally where people that have smaller tanks realistically go wrong. We all see new fish, we want to add them, but you've got to stick to the nutrient export of the tank, really.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong, there is a lot more fish I want to keep. I love this hobby. Like I live and breathe this hobby. I love it. I work in it. There is thousands of different species that I want to keep.
Absolutely.
But I also want the best for the animal.
Yeah.
That's why I do it.
Yeah. You don't want to put in 10 more fish if it's going to have them all upset.
I have a bubble algae problem in this tank.
You say problem.
Can you see it?
No, I cannot see it.
Look, that is one thing I have been fighting every 2 weeks now. The Zoroark and the morphs. There is bubble algae everywhere.
Like, you say everywhere. Cannot see one at all.
But every 2 weeks, and being yesterday was maintenance.
Okay.
I do get them out.
Okay.
I pull the actual whole rock out and I brush them off and then give them a rinse in fresh salt water, put them back.
The joys of a small tank.
I would love to get a magnificent foxface in here. Get rid of it.
Yep.
I'm not doing that.
No, he's not going to have a good time.
Even if I find a baby, I'm still not doing it.
No.
It's too cruel.
Yeah.
And it will get rid of my algae problem, but I'm happy to get rid of it myself and just let that fish go to a bigger tank.
For sure. Now, you did mention some of your parameters around nutrients, but what about the big three in your ALK, calcium, and magnesium? What sort of values are you targeting there?
No worries. So ALK is sitting stable at 9.
Yep.
That's where it is. It honestly, touch wood, it doesn't really change.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. However, my magnesium is a bit up and down at the moment.
Okay.
I aim... personally, I find that my euphyllian stuff looks better when I have it at 15.
Yes.
That's what I aim for.
Yep.
However, lately it has been like 14.5 to 14.
Yeah, right.
To then like 13.90 to like 14. So I am...
Seems a common theme at the moment. I feel like everyone's magnesium is lower than what they normally have it at the moment. So something's going on.
So Agroforest, no. But and calcium is on 420.
Yeah, right. Fairly standard values there. You're not chasing anything unusual, keeping it around natural saltwater levels, maybe slightly elevated, but... so
I'm not one to chase level. Like, I have, in my head, I have where I'm like, yes, it should be.
Yes.
But, for instance, if I see that my magnesium for the next 4 weeks stays at, 13.5,
yes,
I will leave it.
Yeah.
It's stable.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed. I'm going to leave it.
Yeah.
It's not where I want it, but it's where the tank is happy.
For sure.
If it's stable, I'm going to stop playing around with it and it just ticks along.
Perfect.
But don't get me wrong, I do have ideal numbers in my head, but you're
not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater trying to get those numbers.
No, not at all.
No, that's fair. Now, you did briefly mention some of the future plans with the tank. Obviously, copying that little bit of a chip or damage in the move, and you've got some plans for a modest upgrade. Can you tell us a little bit about the plans and timeline for that?
Yeah, so I did save up, and I actually, thanks to Adam, I bought a K900.
Yeah, nice.
It is currently at my new place.
Awesome.
It is empty. There's nothing in it. There's some dust in it because I was impatient and unboxed it.
Took it out of the box to look at it. Yep.
But look, that's the plan. I don't know when it's going to happen.
Sure.
But that is the plan. I still need to save up and buy some more lights and some other gear.
Yep.
So that's the upgrade moving forward. However, I'm not sure if that's going to be the immediate upgrade.
Okay.
as I said, this is at work. I'm finally back at, I'm moved into my new place. It's more stable. I miss seeing the fish at home.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm thinking I am gonna move this just to another no-name glass box. Keep it as it is, but just get the same glass box. And then start saving up and building up the cage.
For sure, yeah. So just keep this one ticking along, essentially. I mean, keeping all the same livestock equipment, literally just swapping out the glass box for one that's not about to burst open.
Yeah, pretty much. So I think that's what the now plan's going to be, but it is definitely going into the cage at some point. Well, like it has to now. I've already bought the cage. It's not going to sit there empty. But yeah, so unfortunately it will be leaving the shop, I would probably say next month. But yeah, so if people want to come check it out, by all means, come check it out. Ask me questions, ask Sam questions. But yeah. Nicely
done. Well, I thoroughly appreciate you taking the time. Normally I say thank you for welcoming me into your home, but we've literally stayed back after hours at work. It is, if we pan around, it is dark out there. We've stayed back so that we can film this at the shop here, and I appreciate you taking the time to do that and letting us see this tank, because I know you were coy about it. You said you don't think it's worthy of YouTube, to which I laughed my head off, because honestly, 9 people out of 10 that walk past this tank need to come in and see it. And the 10th person just didn't see it. They were walking straight to the live room. So this tank is an absolute stunner. And the work you've done to make it happen is a testament to your reef keeping abilities. And I cannot wait to see what you do with a slightly larger tank in the short-term future. And I really look forward to seeing that one too.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks a lot, Sam.
Cheers. Thanks. All right, guys, there you have it. That is the tour of Blake's outstanding Nano. I think we can all agree the results he is getting is off the chart. And when you throw into the mix that he is doing it with no sump, no rear chamber, and a fairly modest list of equipment, it is a huge testament to just how good of a reefer Blake is. And his attention to detail is obviously equally off the charts to get such a beautiful looking reef tank. Now, if you do have any questions, comments, feedback, anything at all for either Blake or myself, feel free to pop it in the comment section down below. If you're not aware, I do personally reply to each and every comment there, so it is the best way to get hold of me to answer those burning questions you may have. And if I don't know the answer myself, I will chat to Blake about it, and we'll either get him to reply on the channel directly or I'll reply on his behalf. Now, one last thing I did want to say, I just want to give a massive shout out to all of our channel subscribers. We are edging closer to that 30,000 mark. So if you want to join the family, feel free to hit the subscribe button in that bottom corner. It takes 2 seconds of your time. It costs no money whatsoever. And I do also want to give a massive shout out to these names on screen here that do chip in a couple of bucks each month as channel members to make these videos possible. I very humbly appreciate all of your support that goes to making this channel possible. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm super proud to be able to bring you a tank that is not absolutely up there with every single gadget under the sun, yet is still achieving what we all dream for in our reef tanks, in that beautiful color and movement in a healthy ecosystem like Blake has achieved. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much. Till next time, stay safe, keep reefing. Cheers, bye.